All right, guys, we are live. Good morning. Welcome, YouTube. How's it going? Starting up a new stream here. Again, we're going to be doing some prop hunting. Kind of go a little bit more in depth in my process for finding props, all that good stuff. So, yeah, excited for this one. Also, if you guys haven't already, make sure to check out my thread, kind of going a little bit more in depth, talking about all the games on the slate. But yeah, I guess first what we can do, let me get a sip of coffee in. All right, so what we'll do first is let's kind of take a look at the rotations for each of these teams in their most recent game, just to see if there's anything of note. So we'll do that. We have, 7 games on the main slate, and I believe, 2 games on the late slate. So we got 9 games total tonight. Also, just a quick note, if you guys are playing DraftKings, again, no late swap if you are playing DFS tonight. So let's take a look at the Charlotte rotation. They got blown out by Milwaukee, but they did still play their starters for majority of the game. So let me go ahead and let me refresh this. So what I have up right now is add more funds. This is a tool that I use a ton. So go ahead and refresh this. All right, good. So they do have these up already. So let's take a look at that Charlotte rotation last game and see if there's anything to note here. So once again, they're running a pretty tight rotation, right? 9 guys. Now, they did get destroyed by Milwaukee. We saw Milwaukee kind of empty the bench in the fourth quarter, but Charlotte, they kept their main guys in. You saw Brandon Miller played 39 minutes, Miles Bridges, 39 minutes, Cody Martin, Nick Richards, Trey Mann, all played high 20s. So, I talked about this a lot with the Hornets of they're going to play their guys big minutes kind of no matter what. The game before, they got absolutely destroyed by Milwaukee, and the starters played until midway through the fourth. Trey Mann actually closed the game. So that is one positive note if you're looking at Hornets props is they're still going to give their guys good minutes no matter what. I do think there's a chance that Seth Curry rests on a back-to-back. He played 16 minutes last game. So, not huge, but I think there's a chance that this rotation could be a little bit tighter. So, Charlotte, let's take a look at Philly in the most recent games. So, Philly, we got Embiid and Melton are out. So, one was their most recent game. That was 227 against Boston. Take a look there, see if there's anything to note. We'll do this quickly for each of these teams. I like doing this to start, just to see if there's anything surprising that has gone on. Where's the Philadelphia 76ers? And then we can get into a little bit more of the advanced data when taking a look at the props and go from there. So I think the first thing that stands out to me looking at his Philly rotation is the Paul Reed minutes, right? And Paul Reed is a guy that usually will play more against big teams, and against smaller teams, they can limit his minutes. Boston was a team I didn't think they really needed him out there. But you saw him play 31 minutes against Cleveland. You saw him play 39 minutes against Miami. Here's the tricky part, right? This is actually a really good spot against Charlotte, but do they necessarily need Paul Reed, right? So probably will be a stay away for me from his props, just because I could see them going small ball again. But yeah, usually, again, you're going to feel better. Next time, whenever Philly plays a big team next, let me take a look at their schedule. I'm going to be pretty heavy on Paul Reed props. Because Embiid's out for a while, right? I don't think he's going to return until near the end of the season. So let me just take a look at the upcoming schedule. So yeah, Hornets, I don't really think they need them. The Mavs, they don't need them. Nets don't need them. Grizzlies, They don't play a big team in a while. I mean, they play Miami middle of March. That'll be a game that they'll probably use them for. Play the Lakers in later March. That'll be another game that I think if he avoids foul trouble, will probably play big minutes, but nothing upcoming, at least, that I see. All right. So is there anything else to note here? Again, Maxey playing huge minutes. That's not a surprise. Don't think so. KJ Martin, I believe, missed their most recent game. He is a guy that can play small ball, too. I believe he is questionable. So, all right, let's go to Cleveland. So the big news here for Cleveland, obviously, is Donovan Mitchell's questionable. And that's going to be big because we know Cleveland runs a very tight rotation. When was their most recent game? Most recent game was against Chicago, 228. All right, so let's take a look at that. This was the double overtime game. But yeah, you're giving the starters big minutes. LeVert played good minutes on the bench. And then Okoro was really the only guy that saw decent minutes. Now, here's the thing. If Donovan Mitchell sits, right, you're going to get a lot more run for Darius Garland. He gets an assist bump, usage bump, and then you're going to get more minutes for guys like Strus and Okoro, and Karis LeVert becomes that secondary playmaker. So I don't think we have any Cavs props up. Let me see. Besides Donovan Mitchell. See, so they're being smart about it, right? So we have no Cavs props up right now. But yeah, that would be, again, I think that the guy that gets the biggest bump there is Darius Garland. Let's go to Detroit. There is something I want to talk about with Detroit because since returning from the All-Star break, they've actually been running a very deep rotation. Last game, though, all their starters played 30-plus minutes. So 227 was the Pistons game. And again, guys, what you're looking at is add more funds. This is a free tool. This is a tool that I use the most. There's also another site, Popcorn Machine, for looking at rotations, but they had an update in the last couple days. So just, again, showing you guys my entire process. But yeah, so the Pistons, again, this is something to note, right? 34 minutes for Isaiah Stewart in his first game back. So he's not on a limit. 36 minutes for Cade. He's no longer on a limit. 33 minutes for Ivy. 31 for Dern. 34 for Asur Thompson. They ran a much tighter rotation last game. Fontecchio was the only guy that played decent minutes off the bench, or as I call him, Fettuccine Alfredo. He played 21 minutes. So if this game does stay competitive, I think these starters will play good minutes. So yeah, Pistons have been a team that I've kind of been staying away from since All-Star break because they're running like 11, 12 guys. Even competitive games are kind of spreading it out, but they switched back to giving the starters big minutes. And Asur Thompson is a guy that, if he avoids foul trouble, I think he's going to play mid-30s minutes, right? This one game, looking at 21 minutes, he had 5 fouls. But yeah, so we can take a look. Like, where is Asur? I'm just curious where his props are right now, if they have him up. Okay, so they just have Demon props up right now for Asur Thompson. But yeah, 7.5 rebounds. I mean, if he plays 35 minutes again, I don't think that's the worst idea. But hopefully they'll add his regular props up there. Okay, so let's move on. Dallas, next team. The big news for Dallas, obviously, is Luka Doncic is questionable. Now, this one's kind of scary if he gets ruled out because, well, you know what's going to happen, right? Kyrie gets a significant usage bump and assist bump if you take a look into the data. But then it increases the chance of a blowout, right? Playing on the road in Boston. So let's take a look at the Dallas rotation, see if there's anything to note from their most recent game. That was 228. Okay, so 228 Dallas. So was that the game that... Okay, yeah, so wait. Maxi Kleber didn't play in that game, right? Yeah, he did not. So I'm assuming you got close to the full 48 from Lively and Gafford. Yeah, so Lively played, 23 minutes. Gafford played 24. Yeah, so you basically got the full split there with those two centers. I don't think you're going to get that tonight because Maxi Kleber is available. He can play some of the 5 too. So you're not going to feel as good about the minutes for Lively and Gafford with Kleber there. Yeah, big minutes for Luka, no surprise. Big minutes for Kyrie, no surprise. PJ Washington continues to start and play good minutes. He had a really good game last game. I would say that was a bit of an outlier, but not a ton else to note here for Dallas. Derrick Jones Jr. talked about in my thread, I think a couple days ago. He's close to out of the rotation, which is surprising because he was a big part early on. I know they've made some changes to the rotation, but or changes to their roster. All right, let's talk about Boston. Boston's going to be pretty boring. I don't think there's anything to know, but we can quickly take a look at it. Their most recent game was 227. Okay, so we're the Boston Celtics. Here we go. So yeah, I guess the thing I want to mention with Boston is when they do play competitive games, they're playing their starters big minutes. Like they got pulled with what? When did they get pulled here? 2 minutes left in the game. All the starters got pulled because of the blowout. But what? Derek White was on pace to play like 32 minutes. Tatum's on pace to play like 36. Brown on pace to play 36. Porzingis on pace to play 33. Drew on pace to play 36. So they're just giving the starters good minutes. They're running a tight rotation in competitive games. Like Horford's really the only bench guy you can expect big minutes from when this team is fully healthy. So if you think Boston can keep it competitive, I do think all starters, or if you think Dallas can keep it competitive, I think all 5 starters will play 30 plus minutes. Okay, let's take a look at Golden State here in a back-to-back. Let's go up to the Warriors. Steve Kerr for like a 2-week stretch was running a good rotation, and it's right back to normal Steve Kerr-esque rotations. I remember taking a look at it. I included in my prop thread that they played 11 guys in the first half. Yeah, so starters, again, Wiggins is going to be out for a while, so you should get, my guess is they just continue to start Moody and play him low to mid-20s minutes. He played 23 minutes in his first start, 25 minutes last night. So you got Podziemski, Moody, Kuminga, Draymond, Steph. And then off the bench, you saw Chris Paul, you saw Klay Thompson in the first half, you saw Saric in the first half, you saw Looney in the first half, you saw Gary Payton in the first half, and you saw Trace Jackson Davis in the first half. 11 guys in the rotation in the first half is not great. The only guy, or I guess technically Kuminga just hit 30 minutes, Podziemski a little over 32, but yeah, Steph 31 minutes. Like, it's not great. And this game was competitive, right? They were playing their starters until the end here, so I will say, though, it's a back-to-back, and Chris Paul's been out for a while. So there's a chance that you could get Chris Paul resting here in a back-to-back. But the thing I wanted to note there for Golden State is starters' minutes have not been great. Minutes in general, because they're running a very deep rotation. All right, let's take a look at Toronto. All right. So Toronto Raptors. Where are they at? 228. Here we go. Okay. So starters have been playing good minutes for Toronto, right? You saw 38 minutes in most of this game for Scotty Barnes, 38 for Quickly, 34 for Barrett, 32 for Gary Trent, close to 30 for Pirtle. Basically ran an 8-man rotation, right? Ochai Agbaji played 8 minutes, but that was it. So starters have been playing good minutes. Quickly, Barnes, Barrett, I think you should all expect mid-30s minutes from. So that's what I wanted to note there. Portland and Memphis. So Portland, 2 really bad teams going up against each other, but I think there is going to be some edge in this game for sure. So let's take a look at Portland. Go down to the Blazers. All right, so the thing that I wanted to mention here, and I talk about this a lot in my thread, is Portland's playing their main guys big minutes in competitive games, right? Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, those would be what I consider their main guys. They both played 40 minutes. DeAndre Ayton, when healthy, was playing huge minutes, right? He played big minutes in the first half. Ayton went down, though, and is doubtful for this game. So what I'm thinking is you're going to get Duop Reith in the starting lineup. Duop Reith played 3-minute stint there in the third quarter and a 4-minute stint in the fourth. So he didn't play huge minutes. The guy that really benefited, though, was Jabari Walker, right? He played the backup 5, and he is a guy with a pretty high ceiling. So I don't think we're going to have Jabari Walker props up for a bit. But he is someone that I'm looking to take because I think he's going to play a lot and a good amount at the 5 tonight. So yeah, I'm going to keep a close eye on when they post Jabari Walker props because he's going to be someone that I'm going to be looking to for sure. Nothing really else to note here for Portland. Kamara's minutes are all over the place. Chris Murray has been playing good minutes in the starting lineup, but he's not going to do a ton with those minutes. All right, let's move on to Memphis. So Memphis, we got some stuff to talk about here for sure because they're going to be shorthanded. The most recent game is 228, so let's take a look there. Okay, so 228, Memphis. They surprisingly kept it competitive against Minnesota. They ran a 10-man rotation. You got Derrick Rose is out, though. Also, their highest usage player, Jaren Jackson Jr., played 38 minutes, basically, is out, too. G.G. Jackson is questionable. He's been their second highest usage player since returning from All-Star break, so that's something to note. Number one is Jordan Goodwin, right? He was out of the rotation before last game. He started. He played 31 minutes. So let's see. Do we have any Grizzlies props up right now? We have, okay, Aldama, Vince Williams. Okay. Aldama's a guy that I'm expecting big minutes from with Jaren Jackson Jr. out, because you take a look at this Memphis rotation, right? If GG Jackson's out too, Kennard's doubtful, Konchar's doubtful. Like, they're just kind of running out of bodies. If GG's out, like, how many active guys would they have? Vince Williams, 1, Aldama, 2, Goodwin, 3, Zaire, 4, Lamar Stevens, 5, Laravia, 6, Jemison, 7, Watanabe, 8, and Matt Hurt, 9. And a couple of these guys are just like 10-day contract guys. So, yeah, I think Aldama props look pretty good here. What do we got? 13.5 points, 23.5 PRA. Kind of like it all. And then Vince Williams, 6.5 assists. I mean, with Goodwin playing a good chunk of minutes, I don't love the assist prop, but I mean, I think Vince Williams is also going to play huge minutes. So I think Aldama is the guy that I have an eye on here, because what did he play in the most recent game? He played 35 minutes. That was with Jaren Jackson Jr. Now you take Jaren Jackson Jr. out. You take Derrick Rose out. Not huge. You could also have GG Jackson out. Yeah, I think Aldama props look pretty good. All right, Pacers. When was their most recent game? So we're finishing up the rotations, guys, and then we'll get a little bit more into the specific props. We can take a look into some more advanced data as well. But again, I just want to go through my whole entire process. This is what I like doing, just to see, like, look through each of these teams' most recent games, rotations, all that good stuff. So Naismith is questionable for the Pacers. If he misses, you should get Mathurin in the starting lineup. Mathurin's been playing 30-plus minutes. He played 29.5 in the most recent game. Pacers did run, 9 guys only last game? The starters plus McConnell, Obi Toppin, Jalen Smith, Ben Shepherd. I mean, I don't think we can expect this again, but Ben Shepherd did play 26 minutes. The only guys you can really expect big minutes from consistently would be Halliburton, Siakam. Miles Turner's been hovering in that high 20s minute range. Jalen Smith's backing him up. Yeah, I think the one thing to note there for the Pacers is just the status of Naismith. All right, let's take a look at the Pelicans. So Pelicans, fully healthy surprisingly, because this is a team that I feel like has been banged up a lot recently. Oh, I know. It's actually, I had it up already. Okay, so let's see. The big thing to note here is JV, right? He only played 7 minutes. He got benched too. Second half, they started Larry Nance, and JV never came back. So they went like small ball behind Larry Nance there in the second half, like with like Najee Marshall / Zion at the 5. And they can do that. They've shown, when the Pelicans are shorthanded earlier in the season, they have shown that they're willing to play Zion at the 5. So, yeah, JV, do they have props up for JV? I'm curious. They don't have any JV props yet, but I'm curious to see where that lands, because, yeah, a little bit scary there. It's been happening a good amount recently. They've been benching JV in the second half. All right, let's take a look at Sacramento. Now, I've talked about this in my videos, but it's been really strange. Like, over the last 3-4 days, you're seeing a lot of guys that fully participate in practice the day before, or fully participate in shoot around and then don't end up playing. Because most of the time when a player does that, either participates fully in practice or in shoot around, they play. But like the last 3-4 days has been weird. And Fox is a full participant in shoot around in the most recent game and didn't end up playing. So yeah, you saw David Mitchell move in the starting lineup for Fox. Wasn't expecting big minutes from him. The guy that really gets the big bump, and I've included it in my threads, is Malik Monk. I want to say it's like he has like a 30% usage with Fox off the court and like a 40% assist percentage. Now, Monk, we got a little bit unlucky in the most recent game. The game was a massive blowout, so he never came back, but he was on pace to play 30-ish minutes, Malik Monk. So I'm guessing they don't have many Kings props up because that questionable tag. They do have Fox. That's it. Yeah. So the thing to note there would be Monk for me. If Fox ends up sitting again, even though I think he plays, but if he misses, Malik Monk is someone that'll have my eye on for like assist props, PRA as well. All right, let's take a look at Minnesota. So Minnesota, it was a little bit tilting because they had 2 of their main guys questionable going into it. I was kind of banking on one of them being out. They ended up both playing, but yeah, 228. It's the most recent game. Slow-Mo missed that game, and he is also not expected to play tonight. So Minnesota, look at this, right? They ran like an 8-man rotation last game. You saw 3 minutes for Jordan McLaughlin. That was it. 33 minutes for McDaniels. 39 for Ant. 37 for Cat. Gobert only played 27. They closed the Naz Reid. They ran a very, very tight rotation. You saw that minutes bump for Anthony Edwards and Karl-Anthony Towns. Something to note for their props is I do think you're going to see, high 30s minutes from both those guys. All right, let's take a look at a couple of these late games, and then we'll get to it. Milwaukee. So Milwaukee, we just saw them play Charlotte again. They destroyed them again. Not a big surprise. Nothing super surprising here for Milwaukee. This is a glitch with Thanasis. I don't know why. Oh, because he got ejected, I think. That's why. I don't know if you guys saw Thanasis, or I don't know if he got ejected. He got a technical foul on the bench. Thanasis did not start, but nothing really to note here. Jay Crowder's been starting for Middleton. He's been averaging mid-20s minutes. You're going to get some more run for like Pat Connaughton with Middleton out. Bobby Portis has seen decent minutes too. But yeah, with Middleton off the court, you do get a little more usage and a little more ball handling for guys like Giannis and Dame. All right, let's talk about Chicago. So this is definitely an important team to talk about. Caruso news is huge. So the most recent game went to double overtime. Let's go over to the Chicago Bulls. All right. Oh, wow. Got a super chat. Hank the Tank, $10 super chat. Thank you, man. Very, very much appreciated. And then we can get to questions at the end. But yeah, really, really appreciate it, man. Okay, so let's talk through Chicago. So I thought going into that most recent game that Drummond would have a good chance of starting against Cleveland because Chicago has shown they will start Drummond against big teams. Now, Caruso got ruled out, so it wasn't even like a decision. It wasn't even a decision. But I think even if Caruso played, they probably would have started Drummond. And I mean, they play the starters huge minutes. Now, right, this game went to double overtime, but you were, on pace for close to 40 minutes for Io. Kobe played 40 minutes in regulation. Drummond was still playing good minutes. Vooch fouled out, was playing good minutes. DeRozan was on pace for close to 40 minutes. One thing to mention here is, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but the Bidham guy, I believe he's a rookie. He played 27 minutes on the bench, surprisingly. So, I don't think we'll get props for him, but I just wanted to note that. Caruso news is big because do they need to start Drummond here against Milwaukee? I think they could, right? Against like Giannis, Brook Lopez. They could. We'll see. But if Caruso gets rolled out, then I don't think it's a decision. I think Drummond starts, and I think he plays big minutes. He had 26 rebounds. 26. So let's see. Do we have Bulls props? Because we got Io, Kobe White. Okay, we do have Vooch props. Do they have his rebound prop up? They don't, but they have rebounds plus assists. Because obviously Vooch takes a hit when Drummond is out there, his rebounding numbers. I know Vooch still had a lot of rebounds last game. I would say it's a bit of an outlier. So, if Drummond starts, I wouldn't mind taking the under there on Vooch. The downside is that the Bulls are going to run a very, very tight rotation. So you're still going to see big minutes from Vooch, and he is going to, when Drummond's not out there, you're going to see Vooch at the 5. Another thing to note is Milwaukee usually plays drop coverage on Vooch. So he has a lot of opportunities for 3-pointers. So that is another thing to note there for Vooch. Okay. Last game here, and then we'll take a look at some props. Washington and the Clippers. Washington took the Lakers to overtime last night. I almost ran a stack there, a Wizard stack with an AD bring back. Didn't end up doing it. I had a bad night in the prop market last night, but if I would have done that, would have had a 25x. So definitely kicking myself for that one. I can kind of talk through my process too of game stacks of what I look for when I am building those 25x slips. Washington. So again, this game went to overtime, but Denny, huge minutes. Bagley dealt with some foul trouble, still played 30 plus minutes. Kuzma and Tyus, big minutes. Jordan Poole had maybe his best game of the season. He's been playing relatively well coming off the bench. But the thing to note here is Washington's running a pretty tight rotation. They're playing their main guys big minutes in competitive games, right? Like you only saw 16 minutes for Shamet. Holmes played a little bit of the backup 5 when Bagley was in foul trouble. what, 20. The only two guys that played good minutes on the bench were Kispert and Jordan Poole. So do they have, let's see, do we have Wizards props up? I'm just curious where they're at right now. Okay, so we do have some props up for the Wizards. All right. Yeah, so this is a team that I wouldn't mind running a stack in because they're running that very tight rotation right now in competitive games. No Poole props yet, but yeah, and then finally we got the Clippers. Two big pieces of news here, Paul George and Zubac. I'm guessing we don't have anything up on Prizepicks yet. Oh, we do have Zubac props. Okay, they have the two questionable players up, right? But yeah, let's take a look at their rotation in the most recent game just to get a good idea if they miss. So 228 against the Lakers. This game really tilts me, guys. I had a good chance at big money on DraftKings that night, and I had, going into the fourth quarter, I was probably the odds-on favorite to win a tournament, and I had Harden, I had Kawhi, and I had Norman Powell, and they just completely laid an egg, man. Completely. They didn't do anything. They scored like 10 points in the fourth. But yeah, so Daniel Tice started for Zubac. He surprisingly played a lot. He played 30 minutes. Now, again, that was against a big team against the Lakers. They played the Wizards. So if Zubac misses, you don't necessarily need one of like one of Tice or Plumlee out there. So like if Zubac is out, they could close small ball. The Clippers like doing that against the Wizards, right? They're not really a big team, so I could see them closing small. So I don't think you would need big minutes from Tice again if Zubac does miss. Coffee started over Norman Powell. So Powell, 2 games ago with Paul George out, played 37 minutes in the starting lineup. Last time he came out the bench and only played 30 minutes. No surprise, close to 40 minutes for Kawhi and Harden. Yeah, okay, so I think that is it for the quick rundown there. But yeah, that's usually what I like doing in the morning. Just kind of taking a look at rotations for all these teams, seeing if there's anything noteworthy. I think we kind of covered that pretty well. But what I want to do now, let's just take a look at this thread in case you guys weren't able to read it, and then we can take a look at some props. So what I do is I try to go into each of these teams and give relevant information with, if guys are questionable, who benefits. And if you guys are curious how I do that, this is this Add More Funds free tool. You can go in, you can, filter it by date range. You can take players on and off the court. You can see who it benefits, usage, assist percentage, rebound chances, all that good stuff. So just quickly take a look at this, and then we'll look at the props and Prizepicks. So for the Hornets, again, we covered it. They're running a relatively tight rotation. Misic is actually leading the team in potential assists, but he's only playing about 20 minutes a game. And then we talked about, too, I think there's a chance Seth Curry rests on a back-to-back. So maybe you see like an 8-man rotation instead of a 9-man rotation. We talked about the Paul Reed minutes, right? I don't necessarily think they need him here against Charlotte. But if you told me for sure Paul Reed is playing 30 minutes, I would really like his props. I think they're at 18.5. Like, if you told me for sure Paul Reed is playing 30 minutes, oh yeah, you better believe I'm taking that. But I don't know if they need him here against Charlotte. And then no surprise, Maxey, high usage and high assist percentage with Embiid off the court. Donovan Mitchell, questionable. Yeah, so Garland right now, 29% usage and 31% assist percentage with Mitchell off the court. And he does get a minutes bump too. So I would expect like high 30s minutes from Garland if Donovan Mitchell's out. Plus, you get a really, really good matchup. So, the Mitchell news is pretty important. We talked about the Pistons kind of changing up their rotation, playing their starters big minutes. Cade, really the only guy averaging a lot of potential assists. Next highest over the last 5 games is Sasser at 6.5. So a lot of ball handling for Cade. We talked about the Mavs, right? Kyrie, high usage and assist percentage, 35% assist percentage with Luke off the court. And then Tim Hardaway Jr. sitting at close to 30% usage. That guy tilts me beyond belief. Anytime I play him when the Mavs are shorthanded, he could not hit a shot. Celtics, again, they're playing the starters big minutes. Golden State, we covered how they're running a pretty deep rotation. No one's playing really more right now than low 30s minutes, which is not ideal. I do think Chris Paul could rest. I don't think it's a huge deal, though, if he does. Toronto, again, running a pretty tight rotation. Quickly has seen that uptick in minutes. For a while, Quickly was sitting at high 20s to low 30s in competitive games, right? But 38 here, 35, 37. But yeah, he was sitting at like, low 30s, high 20s, but he's been playing much better, and you've seen him get those the increase in minutes. Okay, Portland, again, we talked about the center rotation. I think they start Duop Reith, but Jabari Walker is the guy that I think will play a good amount. So I'm going to keep a close eye when we get Jabari. I don't think they have his stats or his propped up in any books either. I have DraftKings open right now. Let's just take a look. Portland, do they have Jabari Walker? No. Yeah, no surprise. Only Anthony Simons and Jeremy Grant. All right. Memphis, Goodwin. One thing to note for Goodwin, we talked about how he started the point. He was out of the rotation. He made 69 passes. Nice. 69 passes last game, 14 potential assists. So when we do get Jordan Goodwin props, I'm curious where they have his assist prop. Because I'm assuming right now, they only have Vince Williams and Aldama, right? Yeah, just Vince Williams and Aldama. Let me just take a look at this. I don't think they have any Goodwin stats up, but he's someone that I'd be looking to take his assist prop, if it's not crazy. But yeah, they don't have it up right now. They're just Vince Williams and Aldama. That Goodwin, he had a ton of potential assists. So, all right, let's talk about the Pacers. Again, Naismith, right? Matherin gets the bump if he's out. Nothing crazy there. We talked about the minutes on JV. They've been sporadic. They've shown the Pelicans they can really limit his minutes if he's struggling. Fox, right? Questionable. I think he plays, but Monk, these are the numbers. 29% usage, 40% assist percentage. And let me just show you guys really quick how I do that, just as one example. So let me go ahead. What I do is go back to the start of the year. That would be October 24th. And then we'll go to the Kings, and I can kind of show you guys how I'm getting these numbers when I'm making these threads. If you guys want to do it yourself, right? Let me go ahead and show you guys how I do that. And yeah, this usually takes a little bit to load. Plus, it's probably a little bit slower since I'm streaming. Okay. Oops, let's go to the Kings. All right, and let's go Fox. Let's take Fox off the court. Also, I am getting a Ethernet cord, just so my connection's a little bit better for streams. So that should come in the next couple days. But all right, just to show you guys how I am getting those numbers for the threads. So we go to shooting. We have Fox out the court. I filter by usage, and Malik Monk right here, right? 29% usage with Fox out the court. Sabonis, 26% usage. Again, McGee has high usage, but it's only in 86 minutes. You can also see the minutes here, how many minutes with Fox out the court. So this is a pretty large sample size here for Malik Monk, 29% usage. And then if you want to look at the assist percentage, you go to ball handling. And I filter by assist percentage. Malik Monk, 40% assist percentage. And again, it's a pretty large sample size. Sabonis, we know he's heavily involved in the offense, 36% assist percentage. But yeah, Monk, again, gets the pretty big bump with Fox off the court. So just if you guys want to do that yourself, that's how I get those numbers. Okay. So we talked about the Minnesota rotation. I think Ant and Cat are going to play big minutes. Basically, 8 guys played last game. Giannis, 34% usage, 30% assist percentage with Bill shot off the court. Dame, 28% usage and 27% assist percentage. For the Bulls, they're going to run their starters big minutes. Caruso's out. Drummond, we didn't see what his rebound prop is. He had 26 rebounds last game. I want to say when Vooch was out earlier in the season and Drummond was starting, like Drummond's rebound prop was like 15 or 16. It was something crazy. Wizards, again, they're playing the main guys big minutes right now. And then, yeah, we talked about the Clippers as well. Okay. So let's talk about what I look for in when I do make my game stacks. I've been pretty successful kind of stacking up games, or even running blowout slips. But what I'm looking for really when I'm running a stack is tight rotations, right? Now, a lot of the times I will stack up bad teams that there's some blowout risk. Like I've stacked the Pistons a lot. I've stacked the Wizards a lot. I've stacked the Hornets. But the reason I do it is those teams get blown out a lot. So a lot of the times their props are a little bit lower. But if those teams can keep it competitive, we've seen they will run pretty tight rotations, right? So that's what I look for a lot when I am running my stacks are tight rotations is number one. Obviously, high total is a positive, games being played at a faster pace, but that's what I'm looking for when I'm running those 25x stacks. All right, let me take a look at chat really quick, and then we'll take a look at the Prizepicks board. Man, this feels like OG days when we did DK streams YouTube before the Patreon streams. Love the channel. Thanks, man. Aldama, yeah. No, I'm not really looking to Aldama unders. I'm probably looking to Aldama overs, to be honest. But yeah, we're at about, 100 concurrent viewers, guys? So thanks. We've been live for about 30 minutes. Just again, showing you guys my process. Going to try to do more of these streams in the future if you guys really like them. But yeah, let's take a look. Fantasy score props. So, okay. They don't have a ton up right now on Prizepicks, but looking through, so we talked about the Pistons, right? It's not really the best matchup, but the fantasy score props are not insane for Detroit here, right? 38.5 for Cade, 24.5 for Ivy, 32.5 for Duren. If we get similar minutes to last game, and the game stays competitive, like the Pistons are a team that you could look to stack. Like, where is the total right now in that game? I'm guessing it's relatively low. Take a look. 221.5. So not insanely low, right? But yeah. Don't mind those Pistons, like running a little Piston stack. Are those the only three players we have up right now for Detroit? Cade, Ivy, Duren. Oh, you do have Fontecchio too, but only the Demon props there. All right, Cleveland, again, they only have Mitchell up because he's questionable. Take a look at Boston. So Boston is a team, usually, if I'm taking overs on props, I'm looking to first half props because it is blowout teams so much. And if Luka sits, I would be concerned about the blowout here. So right now, it's 9.5 point spread. And if Luka gets rolled out, I expect that to go up. So let's just see Porzingis, right? His normal prop right now is 37.5 against Dallas, a little revenge spot. Let's take a look at his first half props. But yeah, Boston's usually been a team that, so 19 first half, 38. Okay, so for me, if I was taking overs on Celtics, I would probably look at the first half props. I do think Porzingis is interesting. Should play in the first half, probably 16, 17 minutes. Not really scared of anyone in Dallas defensively. And his normal fantasy score prop is 37.5. So just about double here. I would prefer his first half prop. But yeah, I don't remember. I guess I will take Boston normal props if a few guys are out. But when they're fully healthy, usually they are a team that I am running first half props for. And then they have Golden State and Toronto fantasy score props up here. Let's see. Anything standing out? Interesting that they have Pirtle here at 33.5. Golden State, a bit of a small ball team against, Draymond starting at the 5. So do they really need Pirtle here to play big minutes? I know he's been playing extremely well of late, but that prop does feel a little high. Let me take a look at... I also subscribe. Another part of my process, just kind of double checking things, is that I subscribe to a lot of DFS sites, projections. So I like double checking things. I want to see where sites right now are projecting Pirtle for his fantasy score. But yeah, that one could be one that I lean the under on, or the less than, I guess, on Prizepicks. Just because in this match against Golden State, I could see Kelly Olynyk playing more. So let's take a look. What do they have Pirtle projected for? I'm looking at on the back end, so you guys can't see. Yeah, okay. So Pirtle projecting right now for about 30 fantasy score. So that is one I have my end to take the under. The last 5 bros won't like that, obviously, because he's gone over in 4 of the last 5. But this is more of a matchup thing against Golden State. I don't really know if they need Pirtle to play big minutes. Golden State prop surprisingly not super high because the rotation they are running. Minga, they have him at 31.5. Also feels a little high, maybe. Yeah, they have him projected for 30. Okay, so not as big of an edge, I think, as Pirtle. I know a lot of people don't like taking unders or less than, but yeah, the way that Golden State's running their rotation's pretty gross right now. Draymond, they have a 27.5. That would probably be one that feels about right, just because Draymond's really good at getting those blocks and steals, and he should probably play high 20s minutes. I actually think I lean the over there on Draymond at 27.5. But yeah, Scotty Barnes 46, quickly 35.5. Again, I expect those guys to play big minutes. What do they have the total for right now in this game? So 237, pretty high total. I think I would probably lean over on both those guys. Yeah, quickly. Okay, let's say Barnes. Maybe stay away. But yeah, I think the Pirtle prop feels a little bit high. What do they have his PRA prop at? His PRA at 24.5. Okay. 9.5 rebounds also could be an under, just because, again, I could see Pirtle playing like 24, 25 minutes in a game like this, and kind of splitting the center position there with Kelly Olynyk. All right, trying to keep an eye on the chat too, guys. Let's see. Chance that Toronto play small. Yeah, yep, exactly. That was exactly my thoughts. So, smart man there, Jalen. I don't really think I'm looking to Pirtle over props because the matchup. Because the matchup against Golden State. And they have shown, like, if you take a look at Toronto, they have shown that they're willing to play Olynyk in, they're comfortable playing Olynyk decent minutes. Like, they can play him 20 plus minutes. 22, 23, 22. So if you get a game where Olynyk plays like 23 minutes, Pirtle probably plays the rest. So yeah, I could see this being a game where they kind of limit the minutes there on Jakob. Okay, so those are the only fantasy score props we have up right now. Let's take a look at some assist props. Let's do that. I like diving into some assist props. And the only annoying part is I wish there was a way to filter out the demons and goblins from the regular assist props, but I'm just going to quickly scroll through, see if there's anything that kind of stands out to me of these assist props. Interesting, they have Jason Tatum at 6 assists. Now, I included that in my prop. He's averaging about 9 potential assists a game over the last 5 games. Let's bring that up. Because that one feels to me a little bit high. He's averaging about a little less than 5 assists per game on the season. So let's take a look. 213 to 227. So what I have up right now, this is the NBA.com site. And you can take a look at potential assists. So I'm going to filter this by the last 5 games. 213, right? Yeah, 213. Okay. 213. Let's go to Boston. Let's take a look at those numbers. So then I filter by potential assists. And yeah, so Tatum is leading the team right now with 9 potential assists per game in 36 minutes. But 9 potential assists he's getting a little bit lucky on the conversion rate. So he's averaging about 6.5 assists on 9 potential assists a game. So usually what I'm looking for when I'm looking into these numbers, potential assists, are I want the potential assist to be about double. So like let's just say the assist prop is at like 5, I would want the potential assist to be at like 10 or higher, right? And just look at the last 5 games. He's averaging about 9 potential assists. The minutes are clearly there, so it's not like there's been a ton of blowouts. So that could be one where I would lean the under or less than on Tatum assists. Let's Let's take a look at DraftKings and take a look where his assist prop is at. So 5.5 with juice on the over. But yeah, looking into the advanced data a little bit more, I think that could be one where I lean less than on Tatum. Plus, if Luka gets rolled out, you do have the blowout risk too. Where are the other props? They have Drew at 5, Derek White at 4.5. So right now, over the last 5 games, Derek White averaging 8 potential assists a game. Drew 6.8. Drew's been pretty lucky with the assists recently. Like, look at this, right? He's basically converting all his assists. 6.8 potential assists for the last 5 games, 6.6 actual assists. So they have an assist prop at 5. That's another one I might lean the under. Now, I definitely wouldn't take both those guys unders in the same slip unless you're running like a blowout slip. But yeah, at least for me, especially if Luka gets rolled out, I think the assist props are a little high on Tatum and a little high on Drew. Okay. Scroll through a little bit more. They got Scotty at 7.5. Okay, Steph at 4.5. I know his potential assists have been decent recently. Let's take a look at Golden State. Let's take a look at them. Last 5 games. Okay. Golden State. One was their 222. Okay. Let's filter this. Last 5, we'll go 222. Well, Golden State. Take a look at what these numbers are looking like. As we talked about, the minutes have not been great, but I'm curious where the numbers are. Okay, so Chris Paul, he's only been playing low 20s minutes. He's averaging a good amount of potential assists, though. 14 potential assists a game over the last 5. Draymond at 12 potential assists a game, and Steph at about 9. Now, we talked about Chris Paul's been out for a while, right? He's been out for a while, and it's a back-to-back. So he's only played 2 games since returning from injury. I know it's just a hand, but I could see him sitting here. And if Chris Paul sits, that's obviously going to benefit Draymond, and it's going to benefit Steph's assist numbers. So keep a close eye on the Chris Paul news here on a back-to-back. I could see him sitting. If he does sit, Steph, Draymond assist numbers don't look bad. But right now, I'm not going to take it. I think that would be one where I would have, my notifications on. I would recommend everyone doing this too, is Underdog NBA on Twitter. Just have notifications on. And then if you do get that like Chris Paul, resting on a back-to-back, you can go quickly and take the Steph and Draymond assist numbers before they get taken off the board. Okay, let's keep it going. Looking at these assist props. They got Simons at 6. Okay. Now, I actually want to look at Portland. So, because you do have no Scoot, you have no Brogdon, so they don't have a lot of ball handlers right now. How long have these 2 guys been out for? Last game that Brogdon played was 2-2. Last game that Scoot played was 2-15. Okay. But what I want to do is I want to take a look at Simons' numbers after 2-15. So you have 3 games here for Simons without both Scoot and Brogdon. Let's take a look at 223. Let's take a look at the numbers here for Anthony Simons. Because he's playing huge minutes in competitive games, and this game should stay competitive. Let's go to Portland. Let's take a look and see what the numbers looking like here for Simons. Okay, so surprisingly not great. 8.7 potential assists a game. Wow, that is surprising. Jeremy Grant actually averaging 11.3 potential assists a game. Now, here we go, though. Simon's still averaging over 60 passes made a game, where Jeremy Grant's only 38. Do they have Jeremy Grant assist numbers up? Only the Demon props. 2.5 Goblin, 5.5 Demon. But I think there's one kind of outlier game here for Simons where he had 0 assists. A really disgusting game. Let's take a look at the potential assists just in the Miami game. I'm a little bit surprised. I would have thought that the assist numbers would look, where the potential assists would look way better here on Simons, just with him being basically the only ball handler. Okay, so in the most recent game, he did have 11 potential assists. 69 passes made, too. That is good to see. And again, 40 minutes. Okay. I still think, I don't know if I'm going to take it, but if I had to lean, I think I actually would lean taking Simons over on the assists. But potential assists again have not been as good as I thought I thought they would be. All right, let me check the chat really quick. And yeah, if you guys have any thoughts on the streams, let me know. Any advice? Thoughts on Cat over 7.5 rebounds? Juice on the books. Curry told me last night. Thoughts on Cade under 7.5 assists? Okay, so on Cat rebounds, do they have his rebound? Let's quickly go to that. And then we'll finish up looking at the assists. So they do have his rebound prop at 7.5. You said it's juice on the over. Take a look. Again, there's a ton of books that I use. Right now I'm just having DraftKings up. Because if I have like a lot of books up or other tools, it kind of slows down the stream. So I'm only want to have one up right now. Yeah, juice on the over. Yeah, I mean, I think I would probably lean the over on Cat. He also played a good amount more in the most recent game. And then the other one was Cade, 7.5 assists. Yeah, the potential assists for Cade over the last 5 games sitting at about 12. They have, well, now is assist props at 7. So maybe that got bumped down as you were talking about it. But let's finish up looking through the assist props. Pelicans, again, they're fully healthy. Nothing really standing out there to me, at least. Halliburton, they have assist prop at 11. Do we want to look at the potential assist for Halliburton? I know the minutes not been amazing. We'll just do that. Well, let's take a look at his numbers over the last 5. So 214 would be their 5th game. Let's filter this. 214. Let's go to Indiana. Let's take a look at some potential assists. Okay, so 16 potential assists is actually not great. 81 passes is good, but 16 potential assists is not ideal if you want to take the over. So don't think I would take the under too, just because like Halliburton, like he's still passing the ball a ton, but I don't think I would lean the over either. All right, let's keep looking through. Okay, so yeah, they have Fox at 5.5. Again, they don't have any Monk props up. As I said, though, if Fox does get ruled out, Monk 40% assist percentage with Fox off the court. So I would definitely look, as long as the number isn't crazy, look to that Monk assist prop. They got Ant at 5, Conley at 6. Okay. The potential assists have been very, very good on Tyus. He's at 9.5, though. That feels probably about right. Like, potential assists for him have been high teens recently. So that prop probably feels about right. Let's see. Have they added any more fantasy score props? No. Let's see the field goals attempted prop. This is okay, they only have 2 up right now. Field goals attempted prop is usually one I like taking less than or unders on games that, like, for example, if they had like Celtics props up, I would maybe lean taking less than that, especially if Luka gets rolled out. So those are props I actually like taking less than in games I think could blow out. Because you and those props are ones that you kind of need the players to play the whole game. And if they don't, then good chance that the less than hits. Okay, let's take a look at some PRA props. So they have a lot. They're gonna have a lot up, and then we can answer any questions you guys have. We've been on for about an hour, but yeah, this is kind of just showing you guys my process, right? We look through rotations. We go over the thread. We look through some advanced data, and just kind of the general eye test too of looking at some of these props and seeing if they feel too high, too low, and then if I do like kind of lean one way, then I look a little bit more into the advanced data. Okay, PRA prop. So we talked about Paul Reed. His minutes are all over the place, but this is a game. I know it's not super high total, but this is another game like I wouldn't mind stacking up, doing a little game stack, because both teams should run pretty tight rotations. It's just disgusting total, 214. But yeah, like the props aren't insane on Charlotte. Bridges at 30.5, Miller at 26.5, Nick Richards at 20.5. Okay. They got Trey Mann at 21.5. Let's see. Again, this Boston-Dallas game, a little bit worried about the blowout if Luka does not play. if Luka does play, then I think it's a better chance it does stay competitive. Golden State PRA props. Now, I mentioned how I lean Draymond over on his fantasy score. I probably lean less than on his PRA prop. Just because Draymond's really good to get those blocks and steals. So, I'm just curious, is the juice on the under for Draymond PRA on books? Yeah, it is. Under is juiced pretty heavily. So, yeah, I think I would take less than on Draymond's PRA, but more on his fantasy score. So again, Pirtle 24.5. We talked about how I'm a little bit scared about his minutes. They do have the juice slightly on the under for Pirtle as well. Okay, so this Portland-Memphis game, right? So they don't have a lot of props up right now, but this is the game that I could see myself running a stack as well on Prizepicks. More so on the Memphis side. Now, a lot of times books won't even post a ton of props, but for example, if we get Jordan Goodwin props, right? We talked about the assist numbers were really good on him last game. If we get Zaire Williams props, maybe Lamar Stevens, especially if Gigi Jackson's out too, this team's pretty shorthanded. So I know right now we only have Aldama and Vince Williams props up, but if they add more to the board, I would definitely like doing a little stack there. But Aldama, I think I saw the juice slightly on the under. I definitely lean the over or more than for Aldama at 23.5. Last 5 bros probably won't like it, but again, you take Jaren Jackson off the court, pretty significant bump for everyone else in Memphis. Okay, so Pelicans, again, they're fully healthy. Miles Turner's minutes have been decent, but not great. We got De'Aaron Fox at 34.5. The Fox minutes have been solid. The last 5 bros, that's probably going to be a popular pick because he's been over in the last 5. I would guess that's probably the juice on the over. It's actually slightly juice on the under. I don't think they would limit Fox, though, right? Because it's just an illness, right? It's not an injury. It's just an illness. Oh, it is an injury. Knee. For some reason, I thought it was an illness. Maybe that's because everyone's been sick. So I'm just assuming that. Okay, Chicago. They don't have Drummond props. We took a the Vooch prop. They don't have his rebound prop either. But is this game being played in Chicago? It is. Oh, it's a 9:00 game. Hey, I could go to this game. I could literally just go to. I haven't been to a Bulls game yet this year. They're playing the Bucks. If Caruso gets rolled out, I'll just stack this game up in the late slate, run a 25x slip on Prizepicks, and go watch the game. It's weird that they have the Chicago games at 9:00. But I will say, okay, so if Caruso gets rolled out, you're going to see big minutes for these guys. And this would be one that, another one, the Bulls, I think they're going to play the starters big minutes. So Io, Kobe White should both play close to 40 minutes. The Bucks defense has not been amazing. It's been a little bit better since coming back from All-Star break, but still not amazing. DeRozan's only at 32.5. The Vooch prop I don't feel as good about because his numbers take a hit when Drummond is out there. But the numbers do feel a little bit low if Caruso gets rolled out on guys like Io and Kobe White and DeRozan if this game does stay competitive. So keep a close eye on the Caruso news. That could be another one, right? Get those notifications on if Caruso gets rolled out. I don't like those. Kind of like the numbers on these Bulls. Okay, and then we got the Clippers and Wizards. Wizards props aren't super high either. What's the total in this Wizards game? I know it's a back-to-back, and I know they just went to overtime. So that's why. It's 15.5. But this is what I'm talking about. We mentioned that earlier, is a lot of the times when I am running these game stacks and Prizepicks, I'm stacking up these bad teams and kind of hoping they can keep it competitive. So obviously there's a good amount of ball risk. And my lean, looking at that spread, is that Paul George and Zubac will play. I don't think that number would be that high if Paul George and Zubac are both out. Looking at 15.5 spread, I think they probably play. But you could run Kuzma, Denny, Bagley, Tyus, and run it back with someone on the Clippers, because the Wizards they're running a tight rotation right now in competitive games. It's just a matter of can they keep it competitive. And, back to back, just went to overtime. Definitely some blowout risk. So that is that. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Take a look if they add any more fantasy score. Fantasy score props are usually my favorite. I think they have the most edge on Prizepicks. Okay, they got Halliburton at 42. Turner's at 32.5. Again, he's really good at getting those blocks and steals, but he's kind of capped at his minutes right now. Let's say in the chat, what do we got? Okay, so that Cade at 7.5 an underdog. Yeah, I probably would lean taking less than that. Feel any better about Buddy Hield minutes with no Melton? Potential they go small. I think Buddy Hield will play 30 plus minutes. What have his minutes been looking like? Let's take a look at Buddy. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the chat. We can go over some stuff. Then we'll get out of here because I know we've been live for about an hour now. Coffee's getting a little cold too. They've been involved in a lot of blowouts though. I think Buddy will play low 30s minutes. Melton hasn't been playing huge minutes, but him being out, I think you're gonna feel a little bit better about the minutes. Like let me guess. I can look at what he's projected for. My guess is Buddy Hield's projected for like 32 minutes or something. 30 minutes. 30 minutes on the dot. Okay. Zion under assists. So they have his assist prop at like 5, right? What's the juice looking like there? I know the potential assists have been solid for Zion, but also they've been shorthanded. Yeah, juice is pretty heavily on the under at 5.5. I don't know if it'll be one that I take, but I think if I had to lean one way or the other, probably would be less than. Again, he's had some big assist games, but I believe those games are when CJ was out. That was what, the 25th, 23rd, and 22nd, or Ingram was out. Like the Pelicans have just been, I feel like one of their main guys have been out for a while, or like at least one. So I think CJ was out a couple of those games. I think Ingram was out one of those games. Like they started Zion at the point, so I'm probably not going to take it. But yeah, maybe lean less if I had to. Do you have any money? On like straight games? I usually don't. I bet more on props. Giannis field goals attempted under yesterday was so free at 18. Yeah, so there you go. Right, that is one again that in games that they could blow out. I like taking less than in the field goals attempted. So right now they only have a couple guys up here, but. Like Giannis against the Hornets last night. That was a game that was like, all right, pretty good chance the game blew out. So those are props you usually take. I like taking less than. Herb Jones, Pierre, recent minutes uptick, great spot. The only thing with Herb is potential foul trouble, but yeah, he's averaging like 37 minutes a game over the last 5. Salute for being profitable, player props. That shit. Yeah, it's not easy right now. I've had some really tough luck over the last week. I had a bad day yesterday, but I think I'm sitting at like 23.5% ROI for like 3 years of data over at my Pickett. So, 14,000 to play fantasy. Yeah. Hey man, got to get my DFS in. Just shoot in. Okay. So it kind of going over my process here, on the stream. Sabonis was sick. Posting any slips today. Yeah. But again, we're covering kind of the in-depth process of what I look for every single day when I start my day. This is usually what I do. Right? I take a look at the rotations, and then I take a look at some props. Just on eye tests, look into ones like, okay, this one might feel a little high, this one might feel a little low, and then I look in the advanced data for it. A lot of tools I use. Again, Add More Funds, the main one, but Popcorn Machine for rotations. I subscribe to a lot of DFS sites for projections, just medium projections to get a good idea of what guys are at. Like, for example, again, Pirtle, we talked about that a little bit earlier. I think there's a chance he plays a little less than usual. He's projected across the industry for about 30 to 31 fantasy score, and right now his prop's at 33.5. So that would be one that I lean less than. No more Prizepicks in Florida. I know. They do still have parlay play, though. So if you are interested in parlay play, here, let me bring it up. It's pretty similar. Prize Picks. I have code below can give you, or the link below can give you $100 deposit match bonus. But yeah, it's pretty similar to Prize Picks, and they are still running in. They are still running right now in Florida. So similar, and you're building slips of props. And my computer is probably a little bit slow right now, just to have a lot of tabs open. But they do have alt lines too, which is kind of nice. But yeah, it's very, very similar to Prize Picks. Again, you're building out slips of props. So check it out. I know they are still live in Florida. I'm going to close this just because I have so many tabs open. And it's probably making the stream a little laggy. Have you thought about doing college basketball props? If I had the time, I would. But college basketball, I actually think there's a lot more edge in doing college basketball props. But with how much time it takes me for doing my daily content for NBA, I just don't have the time. But yeah, if there are more hours in the day, I 100% would grind college. There's definitely more edge. I talk about this a lot. The most edge is a little bit more in the niche stuff. I mean, I always have my best months, preseason, summer league, stuff like that. So yeah, like I think if you're betting on props and you know your stuff, there's definitely more edge with college than NBA, for sure. Thank you, of course, man. CJ 27.5 fantasy score looks good. Yeah, but that does feel a little bit low for CJ. I won't lie. Let me see what he's projected for. We take a look at a couple sites here. Yeah, they have CJ projected. Is it really 27.5? Good call on that one, man. That is one that feels, and Herb Jones as well at 22. I got absolutely screwed. The last 5 bros will like this too. I got absolutely screwed on Herb Jones last game, guys. I needed 23.5. He finished with 23.3. He missed a free throw at the end, and then he had like an offensive rebound putback he got fouled on, and they didn't give him the rebound for it. I know the rule, but like I think he pretty clearly got the rebound first and then got fouled. They didn't give him the rebound for it, so that was pretty brutal. But I think good call on that. The CJ one, I think that's too low for sure at 27.5. And I think Herb Jones is too low too at 22. Herb is someone I would like taking the okay, I'm probably taking both these guys. So right now, sites have Herb Jones projected for 29 fantasy score. He's at 22. CJ projected for low 30s. He's at 27.5. Okay, so we're just checking out the stream. Those are 2 props I am personally going to take. CJ, 27.5. Herb Jones, 22. Those are too low. Good call on the CJ, and I think Herb is way too low too. I definitely prefer Herb Jones' fantasy score to his PRA. So those are 2 I'm definitely going to add to my list. CJ, 27.5. Herb Jones, 22. Any love? I'm not really a big narrative guy. Wouldn't say grind college basketball, just here and there respect it though. Yeah, but the thing with me, like, I don't know anything about college. So if I got into it, I would have to grind it. But yeah, like I know nothing about college basketball. So first time catching live, DK, good stuff, brother. Hey, thanks, man. Luka shoot around today. Okay, so lean Luka playing. Barrett over 24.5 points plus assists. Don't mind it. He's going to play big minutes. That game's a pretty high total too, the Golden State Toronto game. But all right, guys, I'm going to go start posting some props over on Patreon. But yeah, those 2 Pelicans are definitely 2 I'm going to add to my list. So good call on the CJ one. Again, I like the Herb Jones one a lot too. Derek White fantasy score. I think I would lean the first half on White just because of the potential blowout risk. But yeah, I think I would lean the first half for White over the full game. Usually, again, Boston, when they're fully healthy, I tend to take first half props if I'm taking more than, because they blow out teams so much. So, all right, so we're going to call it there. We're live for about an hour and 15 minutes. We've been hovering out 100 concurrent viewers. So really appreciate you guys. We're going to do more of these in the future. Maybe we'll run one again tomorrow. Yeah, thanks again. If you do enjoy, again, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And yeah, good luck tonight, guys. Make sure to follow me on Twitter as well. I'll try to get some content up over there. Remember, Flex Friday. And yeah, we'll see you guys all in the next stream. Have a good one, guys.